Every week, new breakthroughs emerge, signals of where technology is taking us. They aren't just headlines, they're landmarks, markers on the landscape of the future. This week, OpenAI's soaring valuations show how fast artificial intelligence is becoming the core of global industry. Apple's playful Pixar-like home robot hints at a future where technology doesn't just live in our devices, but in our living spaces. Meta is reshaping itself on two fronts, unveiling new augmented reality glasses paired with neural wristband and reorganizing its AI team in pursuit of speed and scale. Imagination itself is accelerating. Google's Imagen 4 delivers art in seconds, while Grok and others rivals are pushing the boundaries of what image generation can be. Robotics take a leap as figures humanoid folds laundry with skill. Each of these stories is more than a single event. Together, they map the contours of the future we're heading into. In our first story, Meta's Hypernova glasses may launch as early as the end of the year. So Hypernova is the code name for the glasses that will come with a little wrist device. I think it's called Sirius, that will be able to figure out by your muscles what you are asking it to do. The reports I've seen, $800 to $1,400 appears to be the price of these new glasses. And because of that, that's definitely on the higher end of the scale. Currently, you can buy some Ray-Bans for around $300 that have some smart functionality. Now, what's going to be involved with these Hypernova glasses? The next evolution, right? Beyond the smartphone, if you can have all of that constantly on in your field of vision, what's coming across, what do you need a smartphone for? So there are currently glasses from places like XReal that actually have a huge screen, the equivalent of 100 screen when you watch a movie or show. And, they're not perfect, obviously. If they were perfect, we'd all be wearing them now. Meta is the owner of the Quest, functionality of the Quest into your glasses, and you can wear them around and have this AR, VR, XR experience with a relatively normal set of glasses. Monitor the world around you for you. Anyways, the next story, and we're just going to quickly recap here. We mentioned this on the last podcast. Meta was restructuring its AI efforts for the fourth time in 6 months, and you're talking about billions and billions of dollars. Meta is not the biggest AI player out there. I think we looked at their capex was around 70 billion for the year, or expected right around there, 70 to 80 billion, somewhere in those lines. And that's not even the largest for the companies out there. So for them to restructure 4 times in the last 6 months just shows you the pressure that at least Meta is feeling. Just something to consider. At least one company out there thinks it's so important they're willing to restructure billions and billions and billions of dollars for the 4th time in 6 months. Let's go ahead and jump into Apple's hardware. We found this article. They're gonna try to put little robots in your house. Some screens, maybe one that's kind of shaped like the Pixar character. I think they call it a Pixar lamp. Anyways, that was our quick look at Apple. And next, we're going to go on to double Imagen. Imagen 4 is now up and available from Google. Gemini, using your Gemini API, you can have access to Imagen 4. And as we have reported the last couple of weeks, fast generation versus ultra generation, or pay a little more for the ultra than you do for the fast. That can be great. And and we're talking seconds for an image to be created. Here we go, 2 cents per image, and that's not unusual. Right now, I think the Flux team offers about the same for their images, and they're very good. The advantage for Google is that people are tied into their products, but not necessarily better. Image generation. These are some of the. Some of these look amazing, right? We jumped in and tried to create a quick image ourselves. This is in Google AI Studio and with Imagen 4. It doesn't look too bad, but at the same time today, Grok, we got a little bit different. So Grok is allowing for free images to be created. Now it's a different experience on the phone. But anyways, so that's out too. So next, we're going to move on to Helix. And then this is the video from Helix of what the robot can do. And, what makes this special is, you can look at the hands and see, like, there's a bit of subtlety. According to my reading ability, is this was done through AI learning and not hard-coded. So this little story here, Claude Sonnet 4 now supports 1 million tokens of context. They're obviously not the first one to do this, but still impressive. Go over 200,000, it's there. And believe me, you might need to in order to get you the answer, get you what you're looking for faster. So something to be aware of. Yes, some of this technology is coming out is great. It's amazing. But to use it, to be on that bleeding edge, might cost you more. An alternative, and if we just go here, let's go to this chat. We're back in Google AI Studio. You can see here, right here, what's this show you? Token count, 0 out of 1,048,576. And we'll wrap this up with just a small story from, actually, we just got this small story where the NSF, United States National Science Foundation, and NVIDIA, they're partnering to put together some AI that'll be open source and open in many ways. And essentially what they're opened up the black box so people can understand what's all in there. For some things, that's going to be required. Some government interactions, they're going to want to know what every piece of data the AI has, knowing that it can know essentially what's going to be coming out. For governments, for banks, things like that, there's a lot of private information. Well, knowing what's already in the black box and how it's going to use, the black box being AI system, and understand that information is going to be a requirement. End it all with OpenAI staff looking to sell $6 billion stock to SoftBank. Now, OpenAI is not a public company, but what I found really fascinating about this was that this $6 billion, it gives the overall company a valuation of about $500 billion. Now, $500 billion is up from $300 billion not too long ago. This is a story from Reuters, by the way, but that would make it one of the top 20, top 15 companies in the world if it were a public company. That's it would be up there. So, this is a company that I didn't even know existed 4 years ago. And now it's amongst the top 15-ish companies in the world in value. So pretty impressive, and it's just into the future. It's just ridiculous growth to justify going from $20 billion in revenue, which is an estimate, of course, to $500 billion valuation. We're going to let you go. I thank you for listening. Hopefully, we all learned a little something today. I think I did. I can talk a lot. See you next time.